I worry when you do these things.
Did I ever tell you about how I think I might have talked about it on the podcast how we went to PAX. I wanted to tweet something from the Ace Watkins account because it was like the beginning of COVID, so it was like kind of like, oh, I wonder if that's going to happen. And
Yeah.
we did a meet and greet, and I wanted to tweet something like, "Come to my meet and greet where you can shake my hand and spit in my mouth." And Phil was like, "You can't do that, buddy." Like he was like, "Look, you're in charge. It's your account, but like." People will spit in my mouth if you do that. So please
Yeah.
do not. No, we did not. He was right.
Good.
He was right.
I'm glad that we don't. That's where the story ends. No offense.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm bad at that stuff. I will do stupid stuff for a joke. I will do it for content. I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish there was definitely a time that I wish I could like class this up or something, but I would just like it was just like falling out of a chair. It was just like the fun, not falling out, but just like tipping in a chair and like pretending like you overdid it and just fell on your ass. And I just thought it was funny. And people would be like, you can't do that. Like you're gonna like hurt yourself.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you're right. I
You're
shouldn't.
not
And then
wrong.
it was like,
You're not. No
therefore the
one's
next.
saying you're wrong.
Then when you do it a minute later, it's so funny.
It's even
Like,
funnier.
I'm sorry. That one was a fucking accident. That was an accident. You know, whatever. Like,
That's very funny.
all right, I'm digging my heels in on this.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, paisanos. Welcome to the Hard Drive Podcast. My name is Jeremy Kapowitz, and with me, as per usual, is Mark Roebuck. Mark, how are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. It feels weird to sit over here on one of these intros.
I haven't done one in a while.
Yeah.
I haven't done them.
I'm like kicking it. I got the window down. I got my feet on the mirror. I'm doing that move. I'm chilling.
Yeah, man, you took it easy this episode.
Mm-hmm. You told me to come up with a premise. I said, nah.
Not. I mean, that is true. That is. You're just like, what if we make everybody else give us the premise?
A little bit. Yeah.
What if we do the old mailbag? I feel like last week we almost just did a mailbag by accident. Like we just started talking like for 45 minutes and people were asking us questions.
I do remember that. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It was like
you might as well just do it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You might as well. All right. Do we want to just get right into it? Should we just like start finding questions? There's a lot of them. Do you have them open?
I don't have them open. I didn't know the format of this at all. I forget. Did we say it proper for the listeners at home? Or if you're on the run, if you're in the woods like me, that's fine. I don't know how vocal I've been about this, but I've changed my stance on the woods.
Yeah, you really have. You're in the woods and you're pro woods.
I'm
Famously, you were anti-woods.
And I'm not stuck in the woods. I've been coming out here to do this.
You know what we should say at the beginning? We should say who we are for people who are new, because you know a lot of people probably don't listen to this podcast. And if you're on the Twitch chat, you're like, "Who the fuck are these idiots?" Well, we should say that we're two founding members of Hard Drive, right?
Yeah, usually forefathers
of Hard Drive. Where if there were a Mount Rushmore, we'd be on it just out of sheer numbers. You know, there's just not that many people who founded it, so you know.
So who is on the hard drive? Mount Rushmore.
Well, of course, it's Mark Roebuck, Jeremy Kapowitz, Matt Sancombe, and Abraham Lincoln.
That's right.
Yeah, you know, he did start the site, but he freed the slaves. You know, he's done some good stuff.
I assume we're standing over the real Mount Rushmore. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
We'll be lucky to squeeze three off, right? If we're honest. If we can pull off
before
three,
people find out, you know, before they see.
But yeah, sorry.
We asked people on Twitter to send us questions, and most of them are dumb, and that's fine. We're just gonna start asking.
And also, just for anyone that's transcribing this to read later, I'm Mark.
Yeah.
And Jeremy, say it.
Oh, I'm Abraham Lincoln. No, who's transcribing it?
I don't know. You'd be surprised.
All right.
I had that job for a while. I mean,
you did have that job.
Yeah, I transcribed things for a while, and I think I joked about this. There's probably a lot of things I shouldn't say, but I will say that I more than once heard people doing interviews that they were like, "Don't worry, this stays between us. I'm not going to have anyone transcribe this or something." And I'm just typing it like,
wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was always wild.
That's
and
funny.
Then I've said before too, my current day job now, where I transcribe phone calls for the deaf or hearing impaired. I suspect that a lot of people would be really shocked to find out that it's not an automated thing, that there's actually a man in their phone at work right now.
I will say I found out recently through someone else that because their job was to like double check phone calls, like and when you're on hold, the person I knew was still listening. So just so you know, when you're on hold, there might be a Mark Roebuck in there transcribing whatever you're saying.
Because these people are just like, if I'm Mark and I have the phone service. Which I am. I'm not stretching far because it's not an important part of the scenario. We can be whoever we want. Do you want me to recast you, or do you want to be Jeremy?
I think I'm going to be Jeremy for this one. I'll be Garth.
You be Garth. Cool. So Garth wants to call me, and then I am like hard of hearing, so I have this phone, and then so then everything Garth says to me is going to come up on a screen, but I'm pretty sure Garth doesn't know when he calls me. I don't know. What?
Yeah. I got you.
You just would never know is all I'm saying in today's thing. Who's going to be transcribing your podcast later? That's my point.
Yeah.
It's the point I'm making here.
Okay. Let's go through these questions because there's a bunch of them. And my guess is that we're going to riff on them a lot because that's usually what we do. And they're pretty vague.
I have two guesses I'll add a second guess of my own. There might be one or two we have to skip for.
Oh, we're going to skip almost all of them. Not almost all, but there's certainly, I'd say more than one or two that we're going to have to skip.
We have no hard, explicit, this is okay, this isn't. We call them on a case-to-case basis, but we know the strikes from the balls too. Okay.
I mean, yeah. I said, what should we talk about? And half of them just say Mario. So it's like, okay. We'll do it. We're not going to not do it.
I'll take that as long as it's just not Mario's pubes.
There's going to be a lot of those too.
I did see that one, and I do think it's a good question. So I'm talking out of my ass because
how about this? We'll start with this. We'll do a Mario, and we'll start with a Mario pubes question.
It's important to set the
Here's my question to you, Mark. This is from Joe Tillelli, hard drive writer Joe Tillelli.
All right, hey Joe.
Kill, fuck, marry, which I've never heard it said in that order before in my life, but I've always been taught fuck, marry, kill.
Okay.
But kill, fuck, marry Lou Albano, who played Mario in the Super Show. Danny Wells, who played Luigi in the Super Show, and Patrick Dempsey, who played Piranha Plant in the Super Show. Who is your fuck, marry, kill of Lou Albano, Danny Wells, and Patrick Dempsey? I know my answer. So
you know your answer. Well, I can. You just got. Sometimes you can just work, but maybe one or two, and then you can rule things out. So I don't want to kill someone who's alive. So I'm not killing Patrick Dempsey. Right? Is that right? Is that objectively right? I mean,
I think you can assume that they're alive.
I think we've done this before because then I get all into, are they back from the dead? Does Lou want to see his family?
Please, I don't want to fuck you, Mark. I just want to see my children once again before the spell wears off.
It's not like marry, kill, fuck, kill, like the one person you fucking kill. So he'd be back. It's like, hey, after this, man, Danny's going back in the ground.
Yeah.
But you get to hang out with them. You get to go be on fucking SmackDown on Friday,
Yes.
Try you out and have you do a promo with Paul Heyman. It's going to be great. Sorry, what's your answer? So I'm gonna. I don't know. I'll work that around.
Do you want me to go first?
I just want to marry Patrick Dempsey, and then of course he'll be on the show.
Really interesting. Okay, I mean that's a good answer.
Okay.
Marry Patrick Dempsey said he comes on our podcast. I mean, if you can get anyone on the podcast, it's got to be your husband, right? I mean, call that favor in.
I would hope.
My first thought answer was just you kill Captain Lou Albano, unfortunately, just as he's the odd man out. You fuck Patrick Dempsey, famous hottie Patrick Dempsey.
I mean,
right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yes, famous heartthrob on that show there. Yeah.
And then, how could you not marry sweet Danny Wells?
Danny Wells will hold you till you fall asleep. Yeah.
Gotta. Or you could just go. I'm Joe in the chat said marry Captain Lou, fuck Danny Wells, kill Dempsey, and then you end up with killing the one living person. That's not a terrible.
Well, here's what I like about. It's not terrible. What I like about what you did with the Jeremy is I'm not comfortable with an undead Captain Lou running around the streets. So you've valiantly killed him. It seems morbid, but it's valiant. It's like in this
I don't think I could hang out with Captain Lou. I don't think that Captain Lou and I would get along very well, even though I love him as Mario. I think he seems like a larger than life figure that I think I'd find annoying.
I don't know. Yeah, I think your place might be a little small for him too. If you ever tried to have him over.
That's true.
He might just end up bumping stuff off the coffee table a lot if you're lucky on a good day.
Sure. I mean, I live
with
a cat.
He's a ball of energy.
I know that's
a lot of energy. Yep. Yep. He'd drink you and eat you out of house and home. I'm sure, forget about it.
So wait, what was your answer? You're
I waffled
marrying
a little bit. So I think now that you
Patrick.
got me thinking, I'm marry Patrick. I don't want to resurrect Lou just so I may fuck him and turn him loose on the
Sure. So
world.
you
I
kill
wouldn't
him as a
do that.
mercy kill.
Kill him, stake through the heart, do a brain thing, cover all my
Mm-hmm.
bases,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
separate the body parts, incinerate them, whatever you got to do. And then what was left there? I guess,
You get to fuck Captain Lou
I
Albano.
guess, yeah, there it
Captain
is.
Lou, Captain Lou
No, 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 because I killed
Albano.
him. I killed him. I killed him.
You're
It's
killing
Danny.
Lou.
Yeah, I'm killing Lou. I'm sleeping with Danny.
Okay, so we had the same answer. Oh no, we're switching Danny and
I'm
Dempsey.
marrying Patrick Dempsey in the
Okay,
interest of not murdering someone.
that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
And the podcast.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Switch
that's
that.
good.
The
That
podcast
honestly,
in the opposite order. The podcast
that
and
being
the
said,
not murdering someone.
you get Patrick on the podcast. Next episode, I'm calling up undead Danny Wells, and that's not a bad. That's
That's
not
a
a bad
get.
episode. I mean, that's
That's
a
a
pretty
get.
big get.
Because yeah, he's undead, and that's weird.
Yeah. I
Um,
think I'd have a lot of questions. First we'd ask him, I think, questions just about what it was like being on the Super Mario Bros. Super Show in 1989. Next, I think we ask him what hell is like. Like, just number two, what was it like in hell?
mm-hmm.
And I assume for some reason that Danny Wells has gone to hell. All right, should we do another question?
Yes, we should. I had something I was going to say. I forget it now. It was about Patrick Dempsey. Oh, yeah. It'd be cool to have Patrick Dempsey on the show. Yep, not worth it. Go ahead.
He's dead.
Oh,
This is from Guide Strieger, and this is one that I know you'll like. What is your favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
wow, that is a great question. I have a few answers.
Okay.
I think.
I need to look up Nicolas Cage's.
Yeah, yeah, and off the top of my head, I'll say the one that I think about a lot that I think might be his most underrated, which by no means would be my favorite, but I think just an actually underrated classic is
Sure.
the Weatherman's a very very funny dark
Weatherman.
comedy that I think it might have come out really close to that Family Man movie. I was just talking about this with my wife. That I
Family
wonder
Guy.
I wonder if it just seemed kind of and is marketed weird, but it's like a really kind of a odd, dark, absurd comedy. That's really good. Face Off might just be my absolute favorite. I revisited Face Off and last year, I think, in preparation for a podcast, which may or may not ever see the light of day.
That's fair.
Face Off is up there, and I'm just thinking it through here. Raising Arizona is a little tough to
Love
beat.
Raising Arizona. Raising Arizona is one of my
It's fun.
least favorite Coen Brothers movies.
I think for me, there's like the first half hour or whatever so of Raising Arizona has this crazy frenetic energy. It feels like Sam Raimi. Like their stuff kind of felt the same a little bit, not like in a derivative way, but they were like pals, and you could see I don't know, there's just like a really franticness to the beginning of Raising Arizona that I love, all the way up to the running around the dogs and the grocery store and the heist and all that. Like it's quite a thing. But I get to that. It's like, I guess all their stuff's pretty out there, but it's a really then the Angel of Death shows up on a motorcycle.
Sure.
It definitely takes a turn, of which I think I like the beginning more. But yeah, that's fair. So with everything said,
there's so many good answers. I'm just reading these.
Really good answers.
You're gonna kick yourself if you didn't say Con Air even. I mean
Con Air is really tight. Yeah, it's really good, dude. Face Off is just remarkable though. Holy shit!
I've never
and
seen Face Off.
As a kid, I liked it because it's a crazy premise and the John Woo action is really good and stuff. If you watch it back though, they're full blown. It's John Travolta doing Nicolas Cage doing John Travolta, and it's just to watch these actors be they've made a lot of weird, wacky choices, but at the end of the day, talented thespians.
Maybe we should watch Face Off on our podcast.
Yeah, man, I'm
not against that. Who cares?
It's really,
we can do whatever the fuck we want, dude. There's no rules.
Have you? I forget. Did you say you've seen it?
I've never seen Face Off.
Yeah, dude. I don't. I'm always so wary of overhyping things, because if you don't like it,
that's fine.
I don't want to be like, I told you you'd like it. I was like, hey, I just like it a lot. Fuck me.
No, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. He gets bad rap. This guy. He's been in so many movies.
I think
is up
some
there.
people. Some people like to work, or some people need to work, and who am I to criticize that? But with that, I think he's got a better batting average than people give him credit for.
I think that's true.
I think some people just dig their heels in, respectably so, and then as the public wavers on him, we're like, Keanu Reeves is weird and stupid, right? Hey, Keanu Reeves is cool, right? And they've just been the same kind of person the whole time. You know what I mean? Pretty consistent.
Yeah.
I think that's I appreciate this Nicolas Cage sort of appreciation that's going on. Mandy was a recent one.
Mandy was going to be one I mentioned. Mandy is such a fun, weird movie.
It's just I went in thinking it was weird, and it was definitely such every this thing that keeps topping itself. And just I remember watching that in the theaters, like, what the where am I going now?
I also really did not like what was he in? Color Out of Space, but he's really good in it.
Which did you say? I'm sorry.
Color Out of Space. I don't know if you've seen that one. The one that's
Is that
like,
newer? Is
yeah,
that newer?
it just came
Yeah,
out
it's
like
it's
last
on it's
year.
on my Shutter list, I think. Right? I wanted to.
Sure, yeah,
watch
it's
it.
probably on
I have
Shudder.
not watched it. Yeah, I haven't watched
Yeah,
it.
yeah. All right, so my answers. There's a lot of good ones. I've never even seen The Vampire's Kiss or whatever. I've never seen. I have seen Raising Arizona. I have seen Moonstruck. I have seen Peggy Sue Got Married and Lord of War. I think Season of the Witch is a crazy fucking movie. Drive Angry, I have not seen. I think this is kind of a cop out because it's not really a Nicolas Cage movie. It's just a movie that he's in. But I think technically my favorite Nick Cage movie is probably Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But
I think
he's great in
that's
it.
a valid answer. It's just like, if you said Kick-Ass, that'd be valid because he's so fucking good in that
That's
movie,
true.
doing a real Adam West type performance, I must say.
Hmm.
In the Kick-Ass movie.
He's
Yeah, so
terrific
I'll allow
in
that.
Spider-Verse as Spider-Man
Hmm.
Noir. And
Yep,
then, yeah, I don't know. He's been in a bunch of.
for
I mean,
sure.
also, you know what? Fuck it. Like, National Treasure's a fun movie. Go fuck yourself.
Dude, for real, man. For real. I would
Yeah,
say
see
too, like,
Superman too. That's what right. And Teen Titans, go to the movie, and that's a great movie. I like that movie a lot.
I would just say too, my two that I would say, not to be like Mr. fucking contrarian or whatever, but just my like underrated movies that I'd say are The Weatherman. I really think people would dig that if more people watch it. I think it speaks to like today's mentality of just being like a gloomy comedy,
Yeah,
about just being like a fuck up or whatever. And Matchstick Men is a good one. Do you know that
yeah.
one?
No, I don't. I mean, I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
That's good. I want to say, did Ridley Scott, someone like, like good directed it. It's him and Sam Rockwell, and they're like con men.
Hmm.
So, there you go.
Those are all good ones.
Hmm.
Nicolas Cage, long career, that man.
Mom and Dad was a good one too. Did you see Mom and Dad?
I've heard it's great. I think from you probably.
Yeah, probably. It was so good. It's about like kids become zombies, but they just want to kill their parents. So good.
I think this is a quick yes or no one. But this question comes from TV Tuners Podcast. Can the game version of Mario read?
Ooh, you know what? I think so. Do you know
I
why?
think no. But yeah, what's your answer?
Assuming that all Mario games are just a universal canon, I'm in no mood or condition to unpack things. He teaches typing.
He does teach typing. That is true. He teaches it.
I'm gonna say
And he reads signs in the game.
he does
That's a
read
good
signs.
point.
He reads signs. Yep. I mean, he reads his mail. Right? Yeah.
That's probably true. You know what?
Jabetch got
I'm
it, yeah.
convinced. He probably does read.
I think he can
He
read.
knows how to.
Yeah. He can it's like if like Odyssey, you're like spending coins in a shop, so he can, count at the, and kind of handle money and all that,
There's a lot of questions about hard drives specifically, about like articles. So let's try to find some of those. This is from Novocaine Stain. And it says, satire often gets shared around after being interpreted as nonfiction. What are, if any, some occasions that this has happened with your outlet? Have there been any repercussions of people? I guess the question is, like, how many people have been tricked by it? I don't think there's ever been repercussions for people being tricked by it, but I would say that people are tricked by every article we write. Would you say that?
I think I would say probably, yeah. If you dive into most
I'd say
retweets or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
our articles
like,
get shared enough that there is at least one person getting tricked by every article we write, which is like, so the rule just has to be like, you just have to make it something that you can stand by as like, this is obviously a joke, and not like try to trick people, because people will get tricked literally no matter what.
I think so. I think there's been some extreme ones. There was a recent Hard Times one that's probably worth talking about that we neither of us had anything really like to do with, but just to speak of like to answer the question as far as a very notable it kind of getting taken. I was where, so who wrote the thing? You know what I'm talking about. So Eddie Van Halen's very, very sadly, Eddie Van Halen recently passed away. And I think people.com referenced a Hard Times article, like straight face, completely thing. And it, and sometimes if it's like, if satire doesn't do its job and it doesn't tell a clear joke, you can see why it would get misinterpreted. And the error isn't always on the person that shared it. But this article was, this article was like, Eddie Van Halen talking about how disappointed he was when he found out his son was a bass player. And it's just like in this obituary there, it's You know what I mean? Though the one that
Yeah.
by no means should that be the one that got taken seriously. And I look too. I know in 2020 there's like
Valerie
like
Bertinelli
it's
is
not the same as
remembering
if
her
it was on
ex-husband.
People like
I
in the
opened up.
supermarket.
I opened up
On
People
that.
and it started blasting some
Oh,
advertisements.
love it.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
continue.
So yeah, just to say, like, to get a write up on people.com is pretty
Yeah,
significant. You know,
it looks like they might have deleted it since then.
okay.
Fucking
What
babies.
do you what is? I'm trying to think of what the headline was.
I mean, is it not just Eddie Van Halen dies at 65 after a long and arduous battle with cancer?
Oh yeah, no, but I'm sorry, I meant the Hard Times article that
Oh,
was
sure,
as if it were just like
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was something stupid.
Unreal. Has there been a notable? Not to put you on the spot, but a notable like when someone thought like what or like a hard drive.
So of people not knowing what it was.
Yeah, or just like a notable like someone thinking it was real or something. I don't know. I can't really. It happens. You see it happen, and it's just like it almost happens so often. I don't know. Like there's like one or two for each that it's hard to think about.
Right.
Here's the article, by the way. We sat down with Eddie Van Halen to ask how he accepted his son coming out as a bassist. Like that's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working for People magazine, and I land on this, and then like the quotes are what you'd think.
You know what though? To be fair, that could be like a snarky new media headline. Like maybe he does an interview with like a website and he jokes. He's like, "Yeah, my son, he came out as a bassist. I was like, oh my god," and then that becomes the headline. It's almost possible, but if you think about it for maybe two more seconds,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Oh hey. My wife Taylor points out that Howard Stern. What was that
true.
one?
There was one where someone, one of the guests or the co-host of Howard Stern, took a Hard Times article. It was like a political one.
Mm-hmm. It was recently.
It was something about like it wasn't the submarine one, right? The Hard Times was that one. This is like the cops defunded police department, forced to sell off nuclear submarine. Was it that one?
Maybe.
Village. Oh, it might have been the Village People one getting rid of the
Village
cop.
People.
That's what it was.
It was the Village People getting rid of the cop. Yep.
It was let me find it.
I think I want to say Robin read it, and I think some people chimed in. Robin, there's no way that's real.
Village People kick out police officer Howard Stern. Yeah, wait. Do I have like the audio?
What a funny joke for the moment, like when everyone was, doing their performative stuff for the Village People.
And one other piece of just a note. Did you know that the Village People fired the police officer?
Anyway, so yeah, that's crazy. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely don't try to trick people. We actively try not to.
It's interesting, like what you said too, and this is a little bit off topic, but like how you said this Hard Times when the bassist, the Eddie Van Halen one, sort of is set up like the sort of thing that maybe a new media sort of headline might be to try to get the click. We kind of talk about that where
Vulture.
And I
couldn't do that or something.
Even like there's a sort of like you see a lot of jokes or like it's almost like the parodying of that old clickbait BuzzFeed style is like keeping it more alive than that style is actually alive, and that's something I've accused comedy of doing.
Yeah, I've accused comedy of a lot.
Yeah, definitely, but it definitely like keeps things like going. Like you would have thought there was kids on milk crates through the fucking 90s with all the stand-up comedy, but like there just weren't. I don't know if maybe it was.
There haven't been airplanes since 2002.
Just saying shit like that. So yeah, so it is interesting where like I don't know what my point was, but sometimes that line can get blurry sometimes with like the way that headlines are written actually like become, it's more snarky than the old AP voice used to be and things like,
Yeah, that's true. That could be a real headline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is one that I saw a lot of. So I'm just going to use this one from JD Lowe, but there's a lot of people who ask similar questions. And the question is, what some takes the team absolutely refuses to touch or even find an angle on?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any?
I guess nothing comes to mind. Like you might put something in front of my face that's like so fucked up. I'd be like, oh no, never.
Yeah, no, we're generally trying to punch up.
So yeah. So I think there might just be things too, like, there's like things that are maybe a part. It's like, I don't feel a need to like make too many jokes about Gamergate or the alt-right or anything.
Sure.
And like shine a light on a thing that doesn't need the light and go, isn't that fucked up?
Yeah. I think that we did a lot of articles about like PewDiePie being racist and stuff like that, and other like gamers being racist, stuff like that. And after a while, if you just keep doing it, it becomes kind of like, aren't you kind of just doing it? Like, you're not even, like, I get that it's ironic, but at some point it's kind of like you're just contributing to this. So we certainly aren't like begging to do like making up a racist game, like Logan Paul wearing blackface. Like, we don't need to do that article like 6 times.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't say there's anything that we're like specifically avoiding, though.
I know it sounds really hacky to say, like, maybe there's always a take for something, and I know that, like, I don't want to say there's certain things like, oh, there's a way to make it funny, because nor am I a big like crusader of that either.
Sure.
I think,
well, I mean,
it just comes back to what you said about punching up or down or something.
To be fair, like, I'm not saying there, I would say that everything, there probably is a take that you can do on any subject, right? But like, we might not ever find them, which is fine. Like, there's a lot of things that I'm like, I don't want to do a joke about that unless it's really, really, really good. And we haven't yet because, and we're not really trying to, but, just because it's got to be really, really good. Like, if you're going to make a joke about like someone's, trauma or something like that, like, it has to be really, really clear who you're making fun of and what you're doing. And, you just got to take it, seriously. I'm trying to think of what else.
And I think too, like, just kind of talk about something like making up,
yes.
or just like or paying extra attention to everything. It's like, look, I'm probably as guilty of it as anyone that did stand-up comedy throughout the early 21st century. You know what I mean? But like, there just for too long has been this kind of like, for me, like the sour streak in a lot of comedy that's just like, trust me, I think this is fucked up, is like the subtext, which is just like, hey, if that's true, cheers. And there's certainly like, I'll laugh at all kinds of fucked up, horrible things, obviously.
Sure, yeah, you laugh at me all the time.
You're fucked up and horrible, sir. But I will treat you with respect. You're my boss.
I don't know if that's true.
I just like that picture that I painted for a minute.
I always think it's funny when freelancers call me their boss, and I'm like, I can't tell you to do anything.
I know. Yeah.
I have no power over you.
Yes, right. It's a very yeah. But
this is a similar question from Cash Craig. He says, more pitched articles that were too fucked up to post. It's like the same kind of thing where it's like, I don't think there's anything we've ever run that we're like, oh man, I'd love to run that, but it's just too fucked up. Like, I think for the most part, like, if we think that it's punching in the right direction, we'll run it. Like, we've run some pretty dark headlines.
Yeah. There's been stuff that I've even
go for it.
I've even like pitched things, and like then I look at them myself, and it's just like, look, I don't even necessarily like believe that for like, no, y'all, like, we need to do this. I'm just like, hey, maybe it's funny. I think it's funny. Maybe other people think it's funny. I don't want to upset more people than what like it. That's not my objective. But sometimes I think of like, I'm surprised, and I wrote it that like we put up the thing about Marvel casting a black Stan Lee like pretty soon after Stan Lee died.
Yes. These are I'm looking up all articles that have been. People have been mad at us for, and I think that they're all funny jokes. I mean, obviously we've made mistakes in the past. Like, I'm not going to pretend that we've never run an article that I regret it or whatever. But so this is real quick. Let me just jump into the desktop mode. Okay. It's time to cast a black Stan Lee. This is an article Mark wrote, I believe, the day Stan Lee died. And people were certainly upset about it. Like, my point is, like,
there's no good reason to do it. Like,
it's clearly too fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, someone being like, "What's something too fucked up?" We were just like, I don't know. What if we make a joke about Stan Lee the day he dies? It was funny. I mean, black Stan Lee hashtag. It seems a little too soon to talk about it. Wrote Vin Diesel. Yeah, I don't know. He said he wanted to be Stan Lee in your article.
Yeah, you just.
I have 2 other ones that I wrote. These are 2 that I wrote. I apparently have written 2 articles for Hard Drive about school shooters that have gotten in trouble. This is an early one. Teen practicing for school shooting in PUBG keeps getting killed before finding weapon. People did not like this joke. They thought it was pretty offensive when it came out. Early article for Hard Drive. To me, it was just so funny
our legs a little bit. I mean,
I feel like the joke to me is like, people always think that video games kids are like training, and I mean, I guess famously, like the Columbine kids, they say trained in Doom. But I was so bad at PUBG when it came out, I would just die every single game. And I was just imagining this guy being like, I'm gonna kill my classmates, and then he jumps in, he just keeps getting shot in the fucking face.
I almost said something a minute ago when we were talking about like fucked up things you shouldn't joke about, right? And it's like, well, jokes have these like dimensions or whatever you want to call them, where it's just like, this is a joke about a school shooting, but really the humor comes from us all having played these games and sucking shit and getting like fucked up before we find a weapon or something. So it becomes a thing of just like, look, and if you think it's fucked up to use a school shooting to make a joke about that, then by all means, I understand that fully, but that just becomes the thing where it becomes tricky to answer, like, oh, I'd never do a joke about a school shooting. It's like, well, I'd never try to mock the victims, but this is about a fucking,
of course,
so I think that enters that conversation.
Also, I think that we live in a world where there's sort of like a shared trauma from school shootings because we're all like kind of on edge about them, and I think that like a way that people deal with those kind of fears is through jokes. And like, obviously, I'm not someone who's like, I don't know someone who's been in a school shooting, but or any shooting. Why did I clarify that? But like there's still like I feel like that's something that you can still joke about as like a whole, that they happen and are a problem.
Yeah, of course.
All right, want to read my second shooter?
I'm dying to see what it is.
Do you remember when there was that guy who like filmed his shooting on like Facebook?
I think so, yeah.
He did a Facebook Live video of his murder.
Ah, fuck.
So that day we ran Facebook tells shooter he could reach more people if he boosts posts for $50.
Oh.
Which again is a joke about Facebook.
Yeah,
being bad. It's a bad
company. Certainly this one peppered with our own bitterness, seeing firsthand what it's like to have like just firsthand, like when people see our posts, they like them, and you just see this really off relationship. Like, wow, some people like our page, and just like nobody's seeing shit. They just shake you down at any, like it's a very
Now when we ran
the comedy comes from like a thing. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, Facebook did say we could boost this post.
Oh my god!
If we want more people to see it,
of course. Wow. Did we?
No, we did not. Is there anything else that people have been mad about? I mean, obviously, there's ones people have been mad about that we were, I agree that maybe we went too far or too glib.
I think, there's some that I can think of that I'd almost rather just like, to me, I mentioned it already, but having done a ton of stand-up comedy, stand-up comedy is a thing. Like, you just completely eat fuck sometimes. I don't care who you are. You just bomb. And I feel like one thing about doing this is that, like, man, sometimes they stay up.
There was that people were mad that we posted the Flint, Michigan one recently. It was something about like Flint, Michigan still doesn't have like clean Mountain Dew, and people were like, "This is too glib," and I was like, "Yeah, you're right. This is bad.
Yeah. What
are you gonna do?"
But hey, I don't want to play the numbers excuse game, but we've put up 4 million articles. I was on the WordPress.
I've written 300. I know
there's
that.
400,000
now.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm coming up on it.
Are you coming up on it? I feel like you had a lot for a while.
Hey man, I took a lot of them down. No, I'm kidding.
Fair. That's fair.
I think I'm at like, I don't know. Last I looked, I thought I was approaching it.
That's fair.
Look at us, the 600 Club. What am I thinking of? The 700 Club. There used to be a TV show called The 700 Club. It was like a religious TV show.
Oh, all right.
We got to write 100 more articles before I can make that reference. So let's get to work.
Okay, this is from Henrik Persson. Where do you get all your wacky, zany, kooky ideas from? Now that's a joke question, but there are answers to it. Where do you get your wacky, zany, kooky ideas from, Mark?
So many ideas these days are just a reaction to a news story. Yes, quite honestly, a recent one I wrote that did well was just like the night that AOC was on Twitch. It was just the Jeb Bush picks horrible night to start Twitch channel. I wasn't sitting there trying to think of jokes. It's just I think, and certainly I've been my brain is wired in such a way that I guess it thinks in these ways. It interprets news, and on a good day it spits out an idea. On a bad day it doesn't work. But yeah, so a lot of just reactions to stuff too. I haven't done it in a while, but there was a time. Do you remember I posted this in our group too? I was adamant about this thing for a while. This series of just it can be really intimidating to try to just think of ideas out of thin air. So I'd open a notebook and write ideas on the left page of just like things. Street Fighter 2 bonus level, Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, blah, 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 blah. And then kind of just like stare at that and then come up with joke ideas to write on the next page. And I come up with a lot of things that way, like do you have that ever? Do you find something you're like, man, I want to make a joke about Guile's hair. And then I would just I would get stuck on a thing and try to do that. Eventually.
Honestly, I don't have the discipline. Like I don't do any sort of exercises to generate ideas. What I do is I find that I have ideas at the worst times generally. And this is embarrassing. In the shower and when I'm about to fall asleep are the two times. And do you want to know what my theory is for this, Mark? For why those are the...
No, I mean, I want to know. I'm interested.
I have it. I'm pretty sure this is the reason. It's the 2 times where I physically cannot be on my phone.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the only 2 times of the day where I physically have to think.
Do you do you suspect then it's like your brain is doing some kind of like waking
Thoughts.
up or whatever you want to?
I think it's thought. I think it's the only time I'm not just reading the feed. You know what I mean? It's the only time where I'm forced to generate my own tweets in my brain.
Wow, Jeremy.
So what I do is, generally throughout the day, I'll have random ideas for stuff, whether it's a cartoon or a sketch or a hard drive article or whatever. And I just write them down, or stand-up bit. And then I have a big doc of just like little ideas that I'd like to develop one day. And I'll go back to them every now and then. Like sometimes years later, I'll go through a doc and I'll be like, there was like an idea there. And I wasn't quite good enough at comedy at the time to make it. So now I'm gonna. And yeah, that's what I do.
I think that's a little similar to my thing, because now sometimes if I don't have ideas, I look back on those old sessions and the left pages are still as good at topics as they've ever been. And sometimes that can be a good thing. So it's similar to yours where you said maybe it's more of a project or a thing. But yeah, the same thing where it's like, oh, I never thought of a good joke. Or sometimes I will just feel like someone will come over me. I guess we're both probably like have written more jokes about things we like a lot. Sure. Like there's always going to be a mix and you never know what jokes are going to be good. And you're always just pitching jokes. Whatever
I think I've written like 90% of the A Song of Ice and Fire jokes on the site just because I like those books.
I've written a lot of our, not all by any means, but a lot of our Tony Hawk Pro Skater jokes have come via me.
My friend Chris, who, spoiler alert, I might start a podcast with sooner than later. In college, we used to play a little game, really just him, where he would ask me what's an area ripe for riffing, just because I think he liked the phrase. And then I'd have to give him an area ripe for riffing.
Are you starting a show called Ripe for Riffing?
That would be fun. That actually would have been a better name. I almost... No.
How is that not? No offense. How is that not like day one?
That is a good question. Actually, that is a.
All right, Jeremy. If you want to try with someone else, I ain't gonna stop you. Good luck
I do like
there.
the name that we have, but I almost don't want to say it because I'm afraid someone will take it. But we have a podcast that's going to come out on the hard drive on the Hard Drive Network. But yeah, that'll be sooner than later. But anyway, that's the similar idea is that we would be like, what's an area? Just a clever way of like, what's like a joke topic that you feel like has a lot of ideas you can generate off of.
And that's the thing too. I mean, I think, the old thing in stand-up was that the joke breakdown was always like set up, premise, punchline. And if a joke doesn't work or a comic sucks, sometimes obviously there's rule breakers always that can do things well in a atypical way. But, so often it's just like, yeah, like one of those things wasn't quite there or something like that. So I do think there's something you can recognize a strong premise and not even have like a funny joke for it yet. You know what I mean? So I think I think it's valid to write down those half thoughts or something. It's funny you said that about the sleep thing. I don't know. Do you ever do you ever end up like just a fragment? It's not enough. Fucking, and then I did the things like that great Mitch Hedberg joke about like convince yourself. I try to convince myself the other thing though. Not that it's not so funny. I don't need to write it down, but that I'll just like, no, I'm going to fucking think about it for 2 minutes.
Really?
And then that way when I wake up, it'll still be in my brain. You know what I mean? Because I fucking thought about it for a minute.
That's crazy.
And then like the other day I woke up and I was like, it was a joke about like Donald Trump's kids. And I honestly, like, that's all I had. You know what I mean? Like it was.
I will, it'll keep me up at night. Like, not even joking. Like I will be like asleep and I'll have an idea for something.
I picture your thoughts just like a tweet being written now that you said that.
Really? That's very funny. No, I don't know, just like ideas. And then I will be like, I had an idea recently for like a sketch, and I was like, tried to do the Hedberg thing where I was like, no, it's not good. It's not a good idea. And then I was like, well, what if? And then I was like, no. Like I gotta go to bed. Like this is ridiculous. It's not. I have way too much to do. And I was like, but also like, and then I ended up like on the toilet at 4 a.m. like writing a sketch on my phone, and it came out really good. I made it. So like
nice.
I don't know. Sometimes.
Can I ask about the toilet?
What about it?
The toilet just showed up in that story.
Well, I didn't want to do it in my bed because it was like 4 a.m.
Make a lot of noise or the light or something.
Yeah, so I went to the bathroom.
Okay, just checking. I'm not trying to be.
And then I shat while like what's it called? A plumpkin when you get a blowjob while shitting.
It's one of those like there's that word. I don't think it happens in the wild. I'm not convinced it happens.
No, I don't think it does because why would it? But
there's a timing there that I'm just not sure people are waiting around on.
I think it needs to. I don't know.
I don't doubt that the interest is out there. I just don't know if people have the. I don't know.
There's got to be an easier way to make that same feeling. Anyway, whatever the joke version is of that joke, Quinn. I don't care. Jason Hall says, "Have you ever thought?
Oh, hey, Jason.
Have you thought more about a sports spinoff? Hardball is a good name."
I don't think we personally have, but the Hard Times.
No, right?
No, not us.
Me
personally.
and you. I don't. I don't know anything about sports. I'm like kind of a stereotypical like, loser in that way.
I like football and wrestling. So
I like hockey.
Make of that what you will. I mean, I'm a casual fan of hockey and baseball and such like that, and checking on it and go through.
I will say this,
sort of thing, but
I have never in my life followed professional sports except for baseball when I was a young kid.
yeah.
But
Was it the Yankees?
It was the Yankees. I had a poster in my room with like Jorge Posada's dumb face on it.
Probably easy to get into the Yankees. They were like always good, right?
They were very good when I was a kid too. This is like early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in like 93, so if I was like 10, that's like 2003. They were pretty good back then. But anyway, I also embarrassing that most of the sports I cared about were through video games. I loved NHL hits and
oh yeah, dude. I think there's certainly like players and teams I'm very like nostalgic for, and it's like because I liked them on Tecmo Super Bowl or something. You know, like it's
yeah. I mean, NHL hits 2003. I was a big fan of the Avalanche because I had an Avalanche jersey for some reason that I played when I played roller hockey as a kid, and that team, because you only played 3 players in NHL hits 2003. The team was Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic,
and Patrick Waugh was your goalie.
Patrick Waugh was the goalie. It was unstoppable.
You're infuriating me right now. No, I'm not a weird guy that takes sports too seriously, but growing up in Michigan, I was a Detroit Red Wings fan. So this is typically where people would get real extra and yell at each other.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. But I will say this. I one of my major pet peeves is when I go to a sports party, and let's say it's the Super Bowl.
Like we're watching that. Yeah.
Which is obviously a big one that happens a lot. I find it truly very annoying when people think I don't understand the basic rules of sports.
It's like,
you have no idea.
Understood it. Jeremy understood it. He would
people
love it.
fucking like explain sports rules to me so often. I'll be like, every year at the Super Bowl, I had a friend for years who every time I'd be like, okay, so like the way that downs work. And I'm like, dude, I know how sports work. It's not a complicated game. Like I understand the rules of football. People love to have a boner for like, yeah, dude, I understand how friggin' football works. I read the Moneyball book, and now I'm a genius. It's like, all right, well, no, you're not. You just like read a Nate Silver tweet.
I will say that the Hard Times, before they even spun off Hard Drive, they were you around for the site? I don't know if you necessarily would have written anything for it though, right? But
No,
Hard Times did a thing called Gut Check that didn't ultimately pan out. That was a sort of a sports, but by way of the Hard Times interests, it definitely leaned more into like skating and MMA and things like that. So I think I would have had more pitches for it had it been a more down the, you know what I mean?
That's the problem with it, is that the guy who ran it, Bill Conway, is very, very funny and talented. And in my opinion, one of the like biggest like secret sauces at the Hard Times,
Oh my God. Weapons. He's the...
But you read that website, and I'm pretty sure it's still alive for the most part. It is indecipherable. Like if you don't know those characters, it is like you literally. I wasn't able to understand what it said.
It was like the only MMA joke I got up was like because CM Punk, the former wrestler, became like a guy that tried MMA and got his ass kicked. So I was like, oh, right. I got a CM Punk joke.
I'm trying to see if it's still alive. I wouldn't want to talk shit about it, but it's like.
No, you know what? Can we say
I
liked my street luge joke I wrote for it. It was really funny.
What was your street luge?
Do you guys remember street luge from the 90s?
I liked all the skating jokes because I know. I mean, that's the thing.
I don't know. I know everything I know about extreme sports. Like my aforementioned Tony Hawk articles, I learned from video games. And street luging showed up in like it must have been 95 or 96. I'm thinking about the ESPN Extreme Sports.
Let's see if we can still find
it. Yeah.
Can I look up like street luge?
Yeah, just look street luge into
How do you spell luge?
I'm sure it's one of the Luge, I think. It's a wild and reckless thing to do.
Street luge. Part-time street luge enthusiast shocked to discover he is ranked 4th in the world. That's very funny.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Let's see if we can find a list of Gut Check articles.
So Gut Check is there. As we've demonstrated, Gut Check is there. It exists mostly in MMA.
You can find it.
Mostly MMA and skateboarding jokes. So that's the closest we've personally come.
Let's talk about it because I do think it's interesting. I'm going to put it on the screen. I think it's interesting just from a like satire standpoint. I mean, obviously we've had Bill Conway is an incredibly successful satirist. So I'm not
like you said, absolutely like one of the big
secret weapons, if not even a secret
head writer, like one of the driving forces by definition.
The editor in chief of Hard Times, I think, right?
I believe so.
Anyway, these articles I just remember thinking like, I don't really like Tim Ortiz retires from MMA to devote more time to putting flames on clothing. Like I was like I don't know these people. Rumor BJ Penn headed to Bellator to fight pack of hungry wolves. Nick Diaz preparing for return to the octagon by training with gas mask Bong. Where it's just like,
oh, that wrestling one's funny to me.
WWE to debut 30-man commentary booth at Royal Rumble.
It's funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Leach covered Conor McGregor begins cut to 145. Yeah, they're good jokes, but it's just like they were for so few people, and we kind of had to learn that lesson because the Hard Times is a niche website, and that was
and I think that was the thing.
Successful.
Yeah.
So they're like, let's go more niche or do another niche thing. And I think what works with video games is that video games are one of the most mainstream things in the world, but everybody who's into it thinks that it's niche, and it's kind of a perfect storm of like niche jokes for everybody.
I think so. Yeah, I think it's like, it's like film in a way. Like, there's so many kinds, there's so many genres, there's so many like I consider myself who's been like someone who's been playing games like most of my damn life. Like probably more than I should have been at a lot of points in my life. You know what I mean? Not that I feel bad about it at all, nor should anyone. But I was just doing a Tom Clancy article I sent you about Tom Clancy games. This is a whole thing of gaming. I've never played any of these games. Do you know what I mean? Like you could have played games so much, and I feel like it's hard not to have some kind of thing, whether it's like I've never played this series or this game or something. It's kind of the same with movies and shit too.
That's true.
I just think that's the thing. It's so vast that it ultimately it sounds niche. Like video games are you're this or that or something, but it's like there's so much in there. Like we'll never run out of jokes because there's just like we still think of like, hey, we've never made a joke about blank. We should do that. Like we're 4 years in.
Well,
and that's,
I have a question for you that is along those lines.
All right.
So Daniel James at the Warrior Friar asks,
Danny
Jimmy, Danny Jim, Jimmy Dan asks, easiest / hardest games or genres to make jokes on.
Oh,
do you have an answer to this? I have some thoughts on it.
I would say personally, I catch myself making, and I think I tried to dial it back, and this isn't a game per se, but maybe a gaming thing. Jokes about delays became a crutch for me.
Yes,
because that's a thing that's prevalent. We talk about how different gaming all is, but all these fucking things are getting delayed. So I think that became like an obvious place I kept kind of catching myself going or something. You know what I mean? That's not a great answer.
Well, I think that in comedy, I remember like an old improv rule was that no one wants to see a sketch or a scene about characters who are bored. And something that we try to do at Hard Drive is make our headlines more active, like people doing stuff. And so a headline about a delay, like delays are kind of just boring headlines in general. Like
they're
just obviously like they're big news. The cyberpunk thing was huge, and I think we have jokes about it. But it's just it's hard to do a joke about something that is like inherently boring.
You're joking about nothing happening.
Yes,
the fact that nothing happens till later.
Yeah. I would also say funny stories are very hard to do jokes about. It's very hard to do. I feel like a lot of criticism that we give to writers a lot when they pitch us stories or jokes is that the story that you're trying to joke is funnier than your headline. Like some of the craziest shit happens in video game news. And it's very, very hard to satirize that. It's much easier to satirize something that's like straightforward and a little weird, like just news. Something in between like boring and interesting. You know what I mean? Like AOC, that's a great example. Like the AOC Twitch stream is not funny inherently, but it's an interesting thing. And you wrote a great article about it. But I'm trying to think of like an example of something that's like really nuts that happened. Or like, okay, here's an example. One angry gamer posted his list of traitors to America. One of the funniest things that's ever happened in video games.
We looked at the list in our meeting.
Person.
We laughed about it. Like
it's very, very hard to make a joke about that. That's funnier than just the reality that one angry gamer made a list of traitors to America that included everybody.
Right, and it's exactly. I think I was like, oh, maybe it's like Mark Ruffalo's super sad to find himself on the list. There's just something about the ridiculousness of it, but really, you're like putting a stepladder trying to reach how fucking weird this thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mark Ruffalo being sad that he's not on the. Was it not on the list?
Or is on it or something, and he's like, no.
Right. So I think that's very funny to me, but it's not funnier than there's already a list called the Traitors of America with Mark Ruffalo on it. Like that's funnier.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like every store he's ever been to, seemingly like it's just absurd. Yeah.
That's something I always found hard.
But yeah, and I guess maybe the hard thing then to answer that question, the hard thing is when you end up with an article, or in our cases, maybe editing an article that I'm not familiar with the game that we just, you know what I mean? That was today. I was writing about fucking, you try to pitch what you know, but then sometimes you just pitch jokes about movies that are coming out or whatever. So I was writing about Tom Clancy games and the Dune movie and all this shit I don't know about today. So that can always be kind of, it's like, you don't want to be, even though you're ultimately writing comedy, you want to like hopefully not be found out as a fraud sometimes, you know?
Very quick question from Verb at Verbicity says, why do you retweet your personal tweets from the hard drive Twitter and then act like you're surprised that they got attention? I retweet myself from hard drive all the time. Not all the time, but fairly often I do. And I retweet our writers and our editors. And never in my life have I acted surprised that it got attention. That makes no sense at all.
That would have been a valid question if it ended sooner, I feel
that would be like if I responded to all my tweets with like, this blew up, like, don't forget to check out my friggin' YouTube. And that's never happened. I've never done that. If anything, I get annoyed that it got too much attention and then I unretweet it or mute it. So that makes no sense. You're wrong. And, shut the fuck up.
I know it sounds like a thing you might be, or whatever, but like I had a tweet that that was like, I said Blade Runner had the best cinematography, and it was three pictures of Blade Runner and one picture of the Super Mario Brothers movie. And it never in my wildest dreams was like, some people think this was fucking serious, and it went viral because half of the people that saw it retweeted it and were just like, Blade Runner's the best movie
rules, bro.
Right. And I was like, no, this is a joke. I'm in my own backyard making tweets.
And you were shocked that it did well. You were shocked.
I am to this day surprised about everything that happens. No, I would just say that's just the perks of building a platform. I don't think there's anything shame or feel guilty about. It's nothing to act surprised about. If you catch any of us acting surprised.
No, I really don't. Yeah, that sucks. If I retweet a writer and they respond like, this blew up, tell them to shut the fuck up because they probably asked me to retweet it. So
when you retweet me, I'll screen cap that you retweet. Never mind.
Screen cap you asking me on like not Reddit, on Slack, being like, hey, anyway, Alex Levine, this is a great question, and I have a really powerful answer for it.
Ooh, all right.
At Wildfire Trez asks, pineapple or no pineapple on pizza? All the way pineapple. Anyone who doesn't like pineapple on pizza is a liar and has never had it or hates themselves.
It's absurd. Why would half the people lie? It's a very contested issue.
Yeah, no.
And I don't want to. Again, much like movies, I'm not going to say like if you want like if you want cold sopping juice on your pizza, I'm not going to stop you, but I would like it off mine, please. That's all.
Do you not like pineapple on pizza? You don't like a Hawaiian slice?
No, I don't like a Hawaiian slice. I frankly find ham to be as overrated a meat as you're going to find, my friend. Ham is pink, boring meat. Sucks. Ham sucks. It's fine. It's not like get out of my mouth, but it's just like it's of all the things I could be having instead of this, it makes me a little sad. That's all.
But
it makes you happy. Cheers, man.
Pineapple on pizza is so good because, first of all, I've never had it wet. I can't say I've had a wet pineapple on a pizza before. I've only had it dry. But what I really like it is that it's like hot pineapple. It tastes really good. And then it's like sweet and it's like salty. But in college, I used to do the really gross thing where I would get like Domino's, and instead of ham, I would get like bacon on it. So it's like pineapple and bacon. And
what's wrong with that?
That's some good pizza.
I worked at Hungry Howie's, and I think our Hawaiian special, the Howie Maui, look at that wordplay, was actually ham, bacon, pineapple. So you got to call them up. Tell them to keep the ham because who fucking wants it?
This is from Drunk Penguins and Twitch. Are there any articles in particular?
I shouldn't have said cold, by the way, because obviously it goes through the oven. But I just think of it as being like a juicy thing, and that's my turn off. But again, I think I've had it and can stomach it. I think I might just like mushrooms more.
I love mushrooms. My favorite pizza topping, olives.
I was just gonna say I just like olives the most.
I love olives, dude. I ate olives. I'll eat them out of the can.
That's
insane.
It's one way to live your life, sir. I don't
know. Are there any articles in particular that y'all remember writing that got more attention than expected? Pretty much every article that does well.
No, I don't think that's all the way true, though.
No, that's true.
Sometimes it's, you have a feeling about a Jeb Bush, for example.
Sure.
Right? Just like a topical
That's
one.
True. When you wrote that article, we all knew pretty quickly that
feels just right. And not even to like put it's happened with plenty of other articles.
Sure. Notably the Waluigi one.
That's the big one. Luigi's big.
I say a lot of them though. Like, I mean, there was Let me try to think of like what are some of the more popular ones.
We did that. Was it that hardcore gamer one? That was just like a picture. Do you know what I'm talking about though? That was like, there was just that picture that someone, I forget who sent it in. I feel bad.
Oh
About
yes, Jim
the
Menzel,
GameCube.
my old
Jim
college
Menzel.
friend. Yeah, I remember
Like
that.
a hardcore gamer, and there was like
Can
a
I
lit
find that?
cigarette hanging out of the GameCube or something.
Yeah, let me find that real quick. There's a few others that have done really well that I don't think we expected to do like gangbusters.
Hey, by the way, I didn't mean to shame the out of the can eating olive community. I mean, that's
No,
what they
that's fine.
and I don't expect you to put it in some other thing to eat the thing you like. So
This was, I think, our first viral tweet. Yeah, I'm a hardcore gamer, and it's a picture of the GameCube, and it's got a lit lighter taped to it.
That's what I looked at that for a while, and it wasn't until a comment.
I don't know how he did it.
Sorry to step on you, but yeah, there's also
well, it's got a cigarette, it's got a knife, it's got a hammer, and it's got a Swiss Army knife.
a hammer. But yeah, so it looks so good, and then you look at it for an extra second, and go, wait, how is the lighter like? There's a flame coming out of it. It's also looks like shit. And I mean this in the best way possible. It's all these things are scotch taped to a GameCube. There's a cigarette hanging out of the damn second controller port. But like, how is the lighter lit?
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
The button is stuck down.
He told me it took him a long time to do it. So the person who made that, I don't know, this is trivia for no one, was the face of Truthbang. He was someone I knew from college, and we used his photo for Truthbang, the character.
Love
Ben
that.
Brown. Okay, here we go. No, where is it? Rogue Deception. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Where is this fucking article, dude? You know what? Hold on. Hard Times. It's written by Jimmy Belyakov. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong, and I'm sorry if I am. I believe it's his second article ever for the site. Here it is. D&D party member with -3 charisma keeps trying to fucking roll deception.
Oh, and it was a picture.
And it's a picture of
Sarah
Huckabee
Huckabee Sanders. Yeah.
And
That's right.
this article exploded. It was really popular. And I think when he pitched it, we were like, that's funny, we should run it. And I don't think we expected that it would do as well as it did. It was also just like one of the first, because November 2018. So I believe it's one of the first really big hits from Hard Drive.
So how old is Hard Drive?
Hard Drive is about 3.5 years.
Okay.
We started in 2017, I believe, June 2017.
What do babies do at that age? 3.5.
Mark, I am the last person you should ask
Are they
what
in
babies.
school? Are they taking?
I think you're maybe in pre-K.
Pre-K, K,
Yeah.
post-K. Some of them.
Post-K. I think we're all in post-K.
It's just a post-K life, man. You're either pre-K or you're post-K.
I think I'm post-K. I'm gonna find another one that was really popular. This article, I really, really thought this was gonna do well, and I couldn't convince everybody. I remember when it came out.
Is this one that I'll tell you one of mine that fell short of expectations?
Well, this one ended up doing well. I couldn't get it to do well online, and I was like, if this got in front of the right audience, I think it would blow up. And it like was the first article we ever ran that like absolutely crushed on Reddit. Like it bombed on Facebook, bombed on Twitter, bombed on Instagram when we first started out, and then just destroyed on Reddit. And it was Elon Musk unveils supercomputer capable of simulating entire universe or running PUBG on medium graphics. Very straightforward, early hard drive article. We would definitely have cut that down if that came out now. But
I know, but the joke is like the blank or blank.
Sure.
You know, I like that.
Yeah. This was like from an era of hard drive where I guess it's still an era where I was just like writing. I was like trying to get more into gaming because I had taken a long break during college. And then for this website, I wanted to get back into it. And I kept writing articles about being bad at video games I was starting to play. Jolie Darrow, our writer, says, "Hey, I saw you're doing an AMA. I have a lot of questions." So yeah, lay them on us, Jolie.
And then called one of us, I assume you, a fake gamer. Only based on the fact that you were talking. I don't mean to cast any.
No, I think it was because I said that I was not playing video games.
You were in the midst of talking about being categorically bad at every game you were playing at that time in your life, which was not long ago.
And things haven't changed. I just have more to say.
Isn't it tough to? I mean, there's no secret about getting good at a game, right? You just have to play just that game, and unfortunately, 58 new games come out every month that you want to play. It's a tough thing to do to justify getting good at one.
As Desmond pointed out in the chat, I think this is really important. Journalists are not good at video games, and I'm not a journalist. I'm a satire of a video game.
I think there's an important word though. Are journalists allowed to be good at video
Sure,
games?
that's true, and the answer is still no.
Are they? Okay. Are we allowed? I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. Like we are. I'm a character, right? The character of Jeremy Kapowitz is a fictional video game writer.
Okay,
so
we joke around.
We're making fun of video game writers by being bad at games.
So our satirical take on journalists, we should be really good at games. No, I don't know. Oh, both of you here coming in from Hard Drive. Both of you, what's your favorite gaming controller ever? Ever.
I have an answer to this.
It's hard to top the Wavebird. I know that's like probably a obvious answer, right?
My answer is the pink Xbox 360 controller I had as a kid.
Ooh,
because I've never really gotten mad at video games. But one time I got really mad playing a video game, like the only time ever in my life, and I remember it, and I threw my controller on the ground and it cracked, and right where you'd put like your left pinky finger, there was a hole where like the little vibrator thing was, and I loved it because from then on, every time the game vibrated, I could feel it on my pinky, and I was weirdly into it.
That's a great answer, great specific answer. I do have one that I like that's actually here on my desk. It's going to sound like a pitch, but hey, I was asked, but what is it? 8-bit do? Is that how you say it?
8-bit do.
Where's my camera? It's this.
Also, apologies to everybody who just thought they got a Discord notification. That was my fault.
Oh yeah, it's this. I play this on my Switch. It's a Bluetooth thing, but it looks like a Super Nintendo controller, but it's got
little hands.
It's got little hands and dual things, and I like playing like you play all the Nintendo games on your Switch there, and you feel like you got the thing. There you go. Yeah, that is.
Jolie says PC mouse that looks like an egg.
PC mouse. I like the. For novelty, it's hard to beat. For like the most hilarious controller of all time is that Wu-Tang one they made for I think PS1 or 2.
Yeah, that sounds ridiculous. Someone asked.
Oh, that's let's see that.
Pink. It's a pink controller. It looked like this. It was like a light pink, very light pink, and it had like a texture to it, and I loved it.
Look.
It was, I think, a little bit cheaper at the store for some reason because people were like, I guess boys were like, I don't want a pink controller. So I was like, I'll buy a fucking pink controller. I don't care.
So Jeremy, my co-host, my friend, my boss, we were talking shit, but what is a game that you're good at? Is there a game that you're really good at that might surprise people, or like that isn't consistent with how you are at other games?
I'm okay at Smash Bros. I think I could beat someone at Smash Bros who doesn't play Smash Bros at all, but I'm not good at it.
I bet you're better than you're leading on because you play it so much. Don't you have to get a little good?
Now you're giving me away. Now it's even more embarrassing.
Oh no! I mean, you're a cat. You don't play that much. You hang out in there. It's different than
playing. I play with my friend Liam. My friend Liam and I will call each other up on the phone like we're high school kids, and we'll just talk over Smash Bros. And he's not very good.
There. They just stand in Smash. The role playing there.
Yeah, I guess my pink vibrating controller does sound a little bit like a sex toy. That is true, Cody Kitty. I'm trying to think if there's a game that I'm good at. I'm okay at Tetris. I played a lot of Tetris in high school. I'm not good at it.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there a game you're good at?
Pretty good at Geometry Wars. I've sunk a lot of time into the Geometry Wars games. Specifically, there's like a handful of like the modes in there. There's one called Pacifism that you don't shoot. You just fly through gates and blow enemies up. It's just like a dumb, mindless thing that I've put hours and hours into and tend to get into like the top 100 or maybe on the.
Okay. On the you know what? I was all right at Halo 3 in high school. I would say I was pretty good at Halo 3 in high school.
Nice. I would say like I don't think I'm a top tier player, but I think things like Tetris and Dr. Mario might be a strong suit. I've won some Tetris 99. I've been invited to the Maximus Cup, if you know what I mean. I've been told I wasn't allowed back, if you catch my drift.
What other questions we got on here? There's some like goofy ones I'm skipping over. No offense to people who sent them, but Hey,
this isn't a goofy show. We're not doing a goofy show is all. That's a thing.
I'm Joe says, this might be a boring one, and no, it's not. What was the first game you guys got really into as kids? What was the first game you got really into as a kid?
Honestly, it might have been just Mario Brothers because Super Mario Brothers just came with the Nintendo, but maybe just because that's a stock answer, I'll say Mega Man 2 after that was really like the one I played over and over.
Yeah, it's hard to be like, for me it's probably...
I just want an exciting answer. It's literally Mario.
Yeah, I don't have like an easy answer. Like the true answer is Pokemon Yellow probably.
Yeah.
Because I was how old when Pokemon Yellow fucking came out? Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Pokemon Yellow release, which was of course Generation 1's Pokemon game, 1998. So I was 4 when it came out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. I mean, the first games I remember like really like getting into with my buddies was like Time Splitters 2, like in like middle school or high school.
That's a good one.
But I mean, as a kid, like in middle school, we played like Melee all the time, and I thought Marth was a girl, and that kind of
I
stuff.
definitely had a few. I've said before, I think on the show that I maintain that I think I was like a pretty good age for video games. I wasn't around when the arcades were like popping off necessarily, but I like grew up with a Nintendo. Like I think games were getting like really, really good. I know people would tell me I'm being ignorant or whatever, but like then so like the Super Nintendo, that whole like as a system, like we talk now a lot about how like the generational gap is hard to tell, but when it was so perceivable, just that whole moment really blew my mind.
Yeah.
Suddenly my Nintendo was a Super Nintendo. I mean, like, and Castlevania looked this good, and Mario looked this good. Like that whole like step up collectively, like really,
I think I had some good stuff too, though. I think every generation probably has that thought because my memory of playing video games as a kid, like a young kid, is like playing Super Smash Brothers Melee and playing what's the PlayStation game that everyone loved about cars that pull each other up?
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
Dude, yeah, that was one of mine. Twisted Metal. The first Twisted Metal was like, oh, this is like Mario Kart, but you're driving around like a city and it's like gnarly and stuff like
so
that.
Third grade, my friend and I would play those two games all the time before Hebrew school. So that's a classic video game story.
And I'm sorry I keep talking about it. I think I mentioned it once before already, but first game that really, really I thought that I got like really hooked on, like really bad, Tecmo Super Bowl, just because that was the first football game. I was always like a huge football. I was like a weird kid that was like into football before I understood it. The way you put like cartoons on for kids, I've been told that I was, like, oh, just put on football, it'll be fine. It's a weird thing. It's a really weird thing.
You fucking freak.
Yeah, man. I had a whole stand-up bit about it. Like I used to like I'd stand in. No, I don't remember.
Hold
but
the mic.
The basis was yeah. So have you ever been out at a show and you know what? I did a fun. I just fucked up my whole setup for a little reveal.
Do you want me to get you on? Let me bring you on stage and you can tell it.
No, I don't. I'm trying to think of what the bit was. Cause I just know it's based on this memory, and it's just like not even a memory. But I was told that I would like watch football and just like run along, and if like a guy fell down, I would fell down.
That's cute.
Presumably hurt myself, and then I would cry a lot when football ended. So that was a nightmare, I'm sure. But
sounds like you were a cool kid.
I was like pretty cool, and I never played football, but I sure did like watching it. So then when Tecmo Super Bowl was like the first time you could really like do a playbook and like I don't know, it was just like it was kind of like the first time a football game felt like real football. Of course, it doesn't now when you play it, but that was a pretty good one. You said Twisted Metal, like I said, that was another one for me too. That was one for whatever reason I had been like hype on, like because you'd read about it in Game Pro because a magazine came out every month or something, and these photographs.
Yeah.
Because again, too, like before the PlayStation games, Sega flirted with it sometimes, but like PlayStation was like the first time shit got sick and twisted, right? Like no pun intended on Twisted Metal, but it was just like a little. It just seemed like edgier. I guess it seemed cool when I was like, growing boy. Like, yeah, I want to be the fucking taxi cab driver that has a hook for a hand.
It's a fucking cool game. You can be a clown in that one.
Yeah. The Sweet Tooth, the ice cream, yeah. So,
do you want to do like maybe like we'll do like a speed round of just some of these questions that I don't think we need to spend too much time on? And then maybe we'll call it a day.
Yeah, I like that. Let's wind it down here.
Okay. So these are some speed rounds, and we can just pass, I think, on most of these. Like this first one, your favorite terms to search on Pornhub.
That's what.
I let the algorithm do my porn searching for me.
Our friend, I searched for our friend Ryan Creamer, right?
Yeah, there you go. He's so funny. I love that guy. One of the funniest people in the world. Let's see. If Mario's pubic hair shaped like his mustache? No. This is
a Jeremy question. Jeremy's been in the trenches on this one.
Yeah, go look it up. What Mario's pubes look like on the Hard Times because I photoshopped it already.
What was the lineage of that, real quick? Where it was something about our every 100 we did a more revealing Mario thing.
This
Can we
is what
talk
happened.
about that? I like that.
I don't think I could show it on Twitch, right?
Oh man, I mean,
I think that's against the rules.
The nudity
I don't think you
stuff?
can show nudity. Anyway, so real quick, there was an article years ago
everybody.
that was like, turns out, it was like some guy thought of what Mario would look like without his hair, right? And it was a picture of him with like no hair.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa. So I ran an article that was, what does Mario look like without his pubic hair, right? And it was like some artist did the math to find out what Mario would look like if he didn't have pubic hair, and just pretending that like Mario's always nude. So I had to Photoshop a photo of nude Mario with pubic hair. So I could say, like, this is what Mario obviously looks like, and then one without pubic hair. And then for some reason I thought it was funny to include an 8-bit version of it, to be like, of course this harkens back to the days of the original Mario. So I made a nude 8-bit Mario. Sorry.
The fucking 8-bit Nintendo wiener Mario like that you made is just so it looks like that zigzaggy Tetris piece. It's so perfect.
It is very fun to make.
What an awful skill set you have.
We've talked about it many times on this podcast, but like the reason Mario has a mustache and overalls is because you couldn't see that he had arms or a face if you didn't do that. Mm-hmm. So Mario nude looks ridiculous. He's just a blob. Like he just looks insane.
Yeah, he's just right.
So then for a while, I mean, also the reason Mario has, of course, pubic hair is because you wouldn't be able to see his penis otherwise. It would just blend in with his body.
Right.
So then, like, for some reason, I tweeted, like,
what is not the penis's mustache?
See, Porcupine Racetrack says that I just searched it. Did you find it? It should be there.
Get on hard drive and search Mario pubes.
So then, like, one day when we hit 1,000 tweets, I think I was like, hey, thanks for, this is our 1,000th tweet. Check it out. And it was the 8-bit nude Mario. And then we hit 2,000 tweets, and I was like, hey, this is 2,000 tweets. Here is nude Mario, normal 3D Mario.
Yep.
And every time people were like, this is horrifying. Please stop doing this. And then for 3,000, our writer Luke Woodward posed as nude Mario. We said, hey, here's an IRL nude Mario. And then for 4,000 tweets,
crushed it.
It looks very good. They killed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then for 4,000 tweets, we did a podcast, a 45-minute podcast, where we gave a bunch of our writers 1 minute to just discuss anything they wanted about Mario's penis. And I think after that we stopped. But that was the... if we're getting back behind the curtain, you definitely can write yourself into a corner sometimes. There's no really... I didn't... People were suggesting, like, what if we did a documentary about... I was like, we're not going to do a documentary on Mario's penis. And then what do you do? And then what do you do? We're just not gonna. What if I branded Mario's dick onto my body? Yeah, I mean, that would be funny, Mark. Yeah, do that. That's how we start our version of Nixium. Now you're just talking about what we do, make our writers do. Yeah. All right, this is a slow speed round. Miles asks, are fighting games trash? I don't think so, but I think Jeremy might play them more than I do. I don't play any fighting games other than Smash Bros, which most people think are not fighting games. I almost said a minute ago, games that blew my mind. I said, like, I was glad, growing up and going to the arcade was cool, and seeing Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat, like, really be like, fucking whoa, like crowds around arcades, like that was like a cool thing that online gaming doesn't really quite ever do. You know what I mean? That actual visceral, like I guess like a big tournament or something certainly does, but that was another cool thing. So I don't think they're trash just because I had really good times playing them in the arcade. I'm trash at them, but I am trash at them, nor have I kept up at them. And I guess I find modern games, like again, it's like I said, I'm not one to dive into games. I like to just there's so many good games coming out all the time. I don't play new stuff. Combos my attention, but yeah, I don't put it into it, so I don't think it's trash. Do you think that they're trash? Do people? I don't like them that much, but I love Smash Bros, which to me implies that the people who love fighting games are right, and that Smash Bros is not a fighting game. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I'm so intrigued by them. Like I'm intrigued by Mortal Kombat and the people they put in them, and you know what I mean. But I don't ever play them. Bryant Francis is isolating. Asks, what's your favorite war crime? I guess loud music. I don't have an answer to that. Oh man, anything you could find on the Violate Geneva. Yeah, go check that out. It's very funny. Giovanni Colantonio runs it, and he's so great. Good. Any threatening There's a man who doesn't need to write down his dream ideas. It would appear. Yeah, that's true. So, we should get him on here. Yeah. Pick his brain. We should get Giovanni on here. We won't let him sleep. We'll wake him up and ask him. He won't have slept. We'll let him doze off. And then we'll wake him up and ask him questions. We make him try the war crimes. That's right. Are any threatening emails from game publishers? No. I don't think so. No. Game publishers generally like us if they know who we are. Yeah. Someone used your quote in that thing recently. Well, like you tweeted... Yeah, that's true. Welcome to use in their description. It was a game I should know. I said if anyone wants to write like I love this game, from Guy from Hard Drive, like throw it in there. I don't care. And someone
It's on the
did.
Steam page, yeah.
I can't remember what it is. It's something really popular that I should know.
I put it on my thing. I forget though.
I can't think of it right now.
That's radical. We should. I don't know.
Yeah, play it.
We should buy it. Support it. They supported
It's on
us.
there.
That's a really good. Fun little bit there.
Thank you.
Was it?
What's up?
Dusk. Dusk. Someone's asking if it was dusk.
Probably. It's not. It's Among Us. No, it's not Among Us.
This might be it because it's on my wish list when I go over here.
Let's
So
see.
that might be why. No.
Dusk game on Steam.
It's not. This looks similar though. Is it something else by these people? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean we're not on it, but that could be because we were taken off for all we know. I don't think it was Dusk though. Dusk is the Doom game. That game looks
It's
cool.
this one. I found it. It's Ultra Kill. It's all one word.
Ultra Kill.
Ultra Kill. It's by the same maker team. It looks like or something. Ultra Kill. Yeah. So
are we on it still?
it's got 2 reviews. This game fucking rules. Some guy from Hard Drive, and then someone named Civi is quoted as saying, "Blood is fuel for my cock." So there it is.
Those are perfect. I like those both. Let me real quick grab it on the stream. So if you look at it,
10% off right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Early access. Check it out.
Really funny.
We gotta wrap it. It looks fun, legit. Like it looks like
it does look really fun. It does
kind
look
of a
really
crazy
fun.
shooter. The kind of people that would do that probably clearly look like they made a crazy fun over the top shooter game.
It's only $17. We should play it.
Yeah, let's get some love in the
this
chat.
game fucking
Sick.
rules. Some guy from Hard Drive, and then if you click it links to the tweet.
Drunk Penguins tells us Ultra Kill is sick as fuck. Both of these
And
reviews
then Dave
are
Oshry
accurate.
put it on there. We should talk to Dave Oshry about it.
Love it.
We should do it. Okay. Let's see what else there is on this
Is
bad
blood
boy.
is fuel for my cock? Is that like from the game?
I don't know.
From the game? Is that what the kids are saying these days? Or
I think people just say that. It's just a fun thing to say.
blood is fuel for my cock?
When will hard drive upgrade to solid state? We did do that for a moment, actually. When I accidentally fucked up our Twitter account, I made an account called the Solid State. You can check that out. More articles that were too fucked up the post. We talked about that. What's your secret? We have none. Rejection criteria for articles. How far is too far? Like we said before, nothing. Generally, we're rejecting articles because we think that the target is bad or they're just not that funny.
I mean, I think there's always going to be hard pitches to hit. If I may make it about sports, as you've asked me to do very often. Confirm the kids are not saying that these days.
I don't talk to kids. I'm a grown man. I'm turning 27 in 2 days.
That's right. I forgot. Happy birthday to Jeremy. Do you know Jeremy's birthday is on Halloween this year? And do you know why? Because it's on Halloween
third Thursday of every month.
Halloween birthday. What's it been like? Do you have a good story about that?
Yeah, I never liked Halloween as a kid. It stressed me out.
Stressed you out because it takes the shine off of your birthday?
No,
which is fair, totally fair.
As a kid, this is not a funny story or anything, but as a kid, I was. DJ Andromeda says, "So is my girlfriend's birthday." I'm your girlfriend.
Happy birthday!
Just so you know, I am
everybody
secretly your girlfriend. I was always a perfectionist with like pumpkin carving and costumes, and most Halloweens as a kid, I would like end up angry that it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, and I hated being the center of attention as a kid, which is funny that I'm a comedian now. So I actually stopped having birthday parties when I was like 6, because I was like, no more.
Wow, you just want to do Halloween but like you'd get like a cake and presents at home.
I
It
would
just
get
was
presents.
maybe less of a thing. Yeah.
I was never really big on this stuff, but yeah,
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
For Halloween, for my birthday, I haven't gotten a birthday present in a very long time, really, for myself or from anyone. And I kind of want to, just for my own sake, get a actually good computer. That's what and then I can do streaming.
You deserve it. You deserve it, sir.
I hope so.
We could stream games together because I got a new computer last year.
Really want to.
We should do that. I have a I've
forgotten kind of birthday present in a year. It's been a whole year. No, I never really was big into birthday presents.
I've always liked, my birthday came a week or two ago. I'm October 18th. I've always liked that Halloween. It's not the actual day of overlap, so I can just totally cash in and just be like, guess what? My birthday party is a costume party. You could totally get away with that if you're in the mood, if that's your thing. Which when I was younger, that I had that kind of energy, that would be my thing. But forgive me if I told this story last year, but I always think of my 30th birthday party So wow, fuck, 6 years ago now, I had it at the house I was living at the time with some friends. Big 30th birthday party. Everyone's wearing costumes and shit like that. End of the night, it goes bad. There's people fighting in the yard. Just like a couple arguing, not like a fist fight or anything, but a couple just yelling at each other. And so just like, when the cops come and you have to elect like who's in best shape to talk to the cops. And I don't know if she's still in the chat or not, but my wife was hanging out earlier. I'll just never forget the image of my girlfriend at the time, my now wife, who was probably maybe like the most maybe like able, the least drunk, whatever, but still dressed as a slice of pepperoni pizza, just talking to a police officer about why everything's fine. It's no big deal. Here's what happened. We're gonna talk.
That's so funny.
Man, it's got to be it's a snapshot for the ages, like.
I'll say this: the other side of it. Yeah, this is my my 2016 Halloween costume where I went as Harley Quinn, because everyone was going as Harley Quinn that year. So I bought like a woman's Harley Quinn costume, and it was like the like full body one. And it looked insane, and it was actually very uncomfortable because
you don't look comfortable at all. I mean, not just like it's your facial expression aside, just like the
not to be like Jeremy, a day in the life as a woman, but people kept touching me and commenting on my body. It was very uncomfortable. Isn't that weird?
It's inappropriate and weird. And I'm sorry that you were subjected to that.
It was very odd. People kept talking about my butt. Anyway,
Hardly Quinn, it's been said.
Hardly Quinn. The fun thing about being Halloween birthday, I'll say now, as someone who does not like birthday parties, I can go to a Halloween costume party and just kind of pretend it's my birthday party, even though it's someone else's. You know what I mean?
It's almost like a pass. Like you should bring your ID, you should be traveling with your ID anyways, Jeremy, as I keep telling you. You could just like present that at costume parties and be like, I'm doing my own thing, man. And you could all, I think that'd be fair.
I'm trying to see other Halloween costumes I've worn. I know I was... Oh, this is a really bad one. This is a 2015 costume when I was... This is Forrest McNeil from Review, a costume that nobody understood.
Jeremy, I love the true... No offense at all. I love it so much. But I love like the true comedy nerd that does a real like... a bit you're going to have to explain.
Who does that, dude? It's not good.
I love it when it's like a deep cut from a movie or something. I love it. But I mean, Andy Daly is the funniest person in the world to me. So I my hat's off to this. I've got headphones on, so I won't actually mess with my hat. But it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing you say.
I'm tossing this one on the screen. This one was last year. I went as Yoshi with my friend as Porco Rosso. So Yoshi's an easy one. You just wear a costume.
Wow.
Video game character. I'm trying to think of other ones. I know I've done. I was Waluigi one year, I guess, because I had it. But it must be years in between. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, I had to explain to everyone who I was dressed as that year. It kind of sucked. I didn't like being,
I think there's definitely been some times that I've I think I was like there's been years that I went all out might be too much, but like there's definitely been like lazy years. Like I was working at a sports bar for a while. And I was a bartender, and the bartenders got to bartend with the referee shirts on. So I owned a referee shirt. So that's already my work uniform. I went to the Halloween store, and like instead of buying the whole get up, which is like what, $40-$50, I bought the Mario hat for like $8 and a mustache, and I was like, hey, I'm Mario in fucking Punch Out.
That's fun. I like that. That's a good costume though.
He doesn't even wear the stripes either.
That's a great Halloween costume.
He wears like a shirt with a bow tie, but hey, whatever.
I'm trying to find like what I would have been on like in 2017, because I was Harley Quinn in 2016, I believe. Oh, whatever. Who cares?
Who gives a rip? Are you doing anything for your birthday? Are you doing anything for your birthday?
Nah, man, I can't do anything this year. It sucks.
What would you do if you could?
What would I do if I could?
Mm-hmm.
My friend, go trick or treating. This is not good comedy, but my friend throws a Halloween party every year that's like out of control, and so I go to that out of control Halloween party. Mm-hmm. So what's fun is that fun is a strong word, but that that costume that I wore when I was Andy Daly, I bought this shitty jacket. I've worn it for many other things, so it did end up being my Jerry Seinfeld jacket. In a pinch when I was Jerry Seinfeld, so it at least came back around.
Nice.
Yeah. This is becoming a very visual podcast, but maybe we should wrap it up. There's one question I wanted to read at the end, but now I've lost it.
Oh no! Did you have like a big like a grand finale?
It was the
What do you think happens when you die?
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah. No, it was something good though. It was not a good question, but you know what I mean?
Do you remember it?
Yeah, hold on, let me find it. I know where it is. Just you know, no, I found it. Okay, this will be the final question, unless you have any that you want to talk about.
No, I feel good about it.
Okay, this is from Brayley and Benson. They ask, "What's Wario's deal? What's up with that freak?"
I don't know. I mean, I don't want to rush to the same judgment that so many people have. I've definitely enjoyed a lot of his games. I think ultimately, I don't think partying differently is a crime, and I think some of us party differently.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my take on Wario. What about you?
Wario? I think that, you know what? Here's my theory. Wario is actually older than Mario, and Mario stole his name. So cut it out, dude. Also, the Wario games are great, like Super Wario, whatever the fuck it's called.
The Wario Land, the
Wario Land. That's what I'm thinking of. Wario Land. Those like Wario Land 2 and 3 I played as a kid. Those are fun.
Mm-hmm. Those are fun. The WarioWare games. I've had much fun playing those.
Yeah, they're good games. I don't know, man. That's all I got. Anyway, if anyone has a quick question in the chat, sound off now. But Jolie asked, "What should I play next?" Video game. What video game should Jolie
What's the
play
platform?
Next?
You got a platform in mind?
I know Jolie has a Switch. I would play Switch. She has a Switch and a PS4.
Switch, PS4. I know Rocket League is free. Hades it's on sale. It's $20 right now, but I think that's like an obvious answer.
I have an answer. Wait, what's yours?
Yeah. What? No, yeah, go for it.
My answer is on your computer. You get Portal 2. And you and your boyfriend play through all of the co-op levels, which are very, very fun. Portal 2 is probably my favorite game ever.
I'm gonna say on the Switch, if they're not on sale right now, they always are. So just wait or whatever. But the any of the Steam World games would be my pick. I love those all. They've spanned a few different genres, so take a look. There's like tactical stuff.
Jolie says he won't play
Steam
with
World
me.
Heist.
Jolie, very easy. Just threaten to break up with him if he doesn't complete all of the. Because it's just explain, that it's like a.
Oh, there you go. Hyrule Warriors demo sounds like.
Oh yeah,
it.
There you go. Hyrule Warriors. All right. Well, this is a fun podcast. We should call it.
Or No More Heroes. No More Heroes 1 and 2. I don't know.
What are we doing next week? What are we doing next week?
I think do we have a guest coming by? Is that next week?
I think we got Chloe Dykstra on to talk about a Super Mario Adventures 3.
An episode of the Mario. 3. Episode of the Mario 3s.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. What Jolie says, have me on, cowards. What if we had just announced you and you just were like, I didn't even know. We're just like, and next week it's Jolie. And you were forced to come on. That happened to us once. We forgot to change our description for like 3 weeks, and Phil Jameson got a notification on his phone that said, "We're live with Phil Jameson," and he was like, "What the fuck?" All right, well, okay.
All right, Paisanos.
Yeah.
You're all the MVPs.
Have a good weekend or whatever.
Have a happy birthday, Jeremy.
Hey, thank you.
Tell Jeremy happy birthday, everybody.
By the time this airs, I will be 27.
And happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween. Have a spooky Halloween. Goodbye.
Go to the woods, will you? It's fucking Halloween.
It's Halloween. Stay in the woods a bit.
Sleep in the woods. Tell your parents your podcast told you to.